process, the dollar amount we appropriated, I set the budget up for. At the end of the day, we didn't spend the full budget, so we didn't do the note for the full budget. So it's not really
Okay.
money we left on the table.
So we
Okay.
didn't appropriate what we
Right.
thought
We
we had to
appropri-
appropriate. We
Right.
thought we had to appropriate $100. We found out we only had to appropriate $80. So there's a $20. When you balance your checkbook, you go, oops. Okay, I got it.
And so like the first, so as, and, you know, I mean, each year as we've done, you know, done the acquisition programs, we get better and, you know, more efficient on the way we handle them, on the way that we process them in our, you know, in our accounting system. The first two were just like.
This is very good. I have a
So-
silly question that's been bugging me since I got on the commission. Why do we call it CNRE 32? Is there
So
significance of 32?
CNRE stands for capital and non-recurring, meaning capital and
No, I know
non-recurring
what that
expenses. 32 is the fund number in our general ledger system.
How come we've never seen 0 through 31 and 33
Yeah.
through?
So.
Have you wondered that, Jen?
Yes, I did.
I
I
feel
wondered it.
validated.
I
So
wondered it
This is kind of
a
like,
couple of times,
the chart of accounts was set up BA, which means before Anna.
Okay.
And so, I don't have an answer to that
So
question.
is the 32 specific to East Lyme and other towns call theirs something else, or is this a state designation?
I don't believe it's a state designation.
Okay, it's just what East Lyme does. We picked 32.
Correct.
Okay. Just, I have a thing about,
And so, and
Numbers.
actually, as one of the things, once we get into working on transition to a new accounting software system, I am going to be looking at the chart of accounts that, you know, the state of Connecticut, they developed a uniform chart of accounts. So I'm going to be looking at that and, you know, so these numbers will be probably totally different in another year.
how often are you going to present this to us?
So this, I think, at least annually, because annually, like, once this is organized, I think that it should be done annually, like after the end of the fiscal year, just, you know, tidying it all up so that every year it's gonna be a useful tool for
Mhm.
everyone.
Yeah, I think it's great. Big
But we
step
can
forward.
look at it, you know, set when we wanna look at it going forward.
Thank you.
Any other questions about our CNRE or account? Said it right, okay. Hearing none, we'll close new business. We'll move on to old business.
I have an item.
You have an item.
So I wasn't here last meeting, but I want to understand something about the vehicle for the Board of Ed. So Anna, I understand that the board, correct me if I have this scenario wrong. The Board of Ed appealed to the Board of Selectmen for a vehicle for said purpose in the amount of $18,000. They said, here's 25.
So what happened is, when the Board of Ed presented their request, they asked for funding to purchase a used vehicle. At the Board of Selectmen level, when they were discussing it, they felt that, and it's more, we have been purchasing the, what vehicle are we getting? Not the Escort, the Ford.
Focus.
The Ford SUVs that we've been purchasing, the name is.
Escape.
Escape, thank you.
The name escapes you?
Yeah. Okay, so we've been purchasing those, and the price difference between what the Board of Ed was asking for and that vehicle was not that much, so the Board of Selectmen felt that they would be better served to purchase a brand-new vehicle rather than a used vehicle. However, you know, because the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Finance reduced the request, that's all the Board of Ed's gonna be able to spend, is the amount set by the Board.
But this is another example of us preparing for the town meeting before it comes to the Board of Finance, which I have a problem with. Why do we do that?
We are not, we've stepped back from doing that, the
But
board.
That's what we did here. I mean, the minutes from the town meeting are recorded June, I don't know, it says June 14th, which I don't understand that, but it went to the paper, right, for a town meeting, and you have to put the amount in there, and it goes in, and it goes, all that gets put in motion before the Board of Finance even votes on it.
I thought that one was done, maybe that one was done, but we don't always do them that way. We do them, like, for example, the 2 items that are on this agenda tonight won't be going to the Board of Selectmen until the first meeting of October to set the call for the town meeting.
Right.
And that, however, we are also going to have to go to town meeting for the building management system that I briefed you on during my discussion. So that item, because of the time sensitivity of it, will be included. They're gonna set that at that meeting as well.
So then is that gonna come to us for a
It
decision?
will, it will.
So, you see my question, I don't want to have to
Oh,
keep
no, I
asking the obvious.
understand
It's ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous.
I understand
To
that.
set the town meeting up with the amount of money and then say we're gonna take this to the Board of Finance. Don't even ask us, which is wrong, but
No, we've been,
schedule the item in a previous month. I don't know what you gotta do, but
Right.
the
But
way
so-
we're doing it is just
so these two,
unsat.
the 2 items from tonight's agenda are gonna, we'll have the Board of Selectmen set the call at their October 2nd, I think it's October 2nd meeting. But we will be including on it that HVAC, that building management system, because if we put it off another month, we're getting into the winter season,
Mhm.
and when that's installed, we're gonna have to shut the system off.
All right, so you're talking about the HVAC unit?
Yes,
Okay, but
yeah.
we already approved that.
No.
No, you
Not
didn't.
this- not this
I just briefed you
recent.
She
about it
just
tonight.
briefed us saying that there's gonna be
Oh,
a
that it's coming.
$43,000.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. But we've gone through.
That's right, you did.
Yeah,
My mistake.
We've gone through, like, the process where we've met all the criteria of the purchasing policy in terms of that particular project.
Yeah,
But
I
but
don't
I
have any
understand
issue
what
with
you're
that.
saying.
Yeah, I mean, but we're not, I don't, it shouldn't happen. It's just,
Mm.
it's an integrity issue, really. So how do we make this, how do we change this?
Well, one thing is we might have to have special meetings of the Board of Finance, you know, if you have a large
Right.
item,
Or no, or.
you know, and then it proceeds to Board of Selectmen.
So really,
Why did this go to the Board of Selectmen first? Why didn't it come to us first?
what item?
The vehicle acquisition for the Board of Ed?
It did go to the Board of Selectmen first.
No, why doesn't it go to us first? And then we approve it or not approve it for the
Because the
money
way the
amount?
charter is
The
written,
charter
it comes
says
to
they
the
gotta
Board of
go
Selectmen
first.
Okay.
first. That's why.
All right. I just think the timeline that we do this is, it's a problem.
We are working on that. We have been doing calls subsequent, we've been doing it selectmen, finance, selectmen. We have set calls in that order. It has not always been done that way, but we have started doing it.
But if the Board of Selectmen approves $25,000 for a car,
Mm-hmm.
and it goes into the paper saying there's gonna be a meeting for the town to vote on the $23,000, and it comes to us and we approve $18,000,
At a town meeting, you can decrease appropriations, but you cannot increase them.
that's what I thought it,
Right.
But we didn't decrease it.
yeah, we went down to
We
18.
did.
No, we didn't. It says, on the meeting minutes, to approve a special appropriation and CR refund in the amount of $25,000.
But we
And then it
approved
says
18.
afterwards, Mark says they can only spend 18,000.
Yeah.
But it was approved for 25,
Where's our
after
motion?
we said 18. I mean, I have the minutes right here.
It's the town meeting.
The minutes are
yeah.
right here.
I am only putting in the account for them to spend as what the Board of Finance, with the intent of the Board of Finance, because that appropriation should have been reduced at the town meeting.
That's
and
because it
was
shouldn't
not.
have, it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have gone in the paper for that amount, and it's not the first time it's happened.
So,
I mean, if you want to look at the minutes, it says right here, approved for $25,000.
Yeah, I'm looking in here, looking in there.
No,
That's
I'm
why
looking
I
at
said-
meeting minutes from the town meeting.
Yeah, you're looking at the town meeting, I was looking at our meeting minutes.
So I'm registering a complaint. I think it's unsat. And it is an integrity issue.
So the town meeting should have been notified at the beginning of the meeting that the value was decreased to 18, and that's what should have gone into the meeting minutes at the town meeting, and everywhere beyond there.
Well, right, but we create a loop for ourselves because we already put everything in place as if the Board of Finance is gonna rubber stamp everything. And now we'd have to set it up so somebody actually has to check it. And that's a loophole for errors.
Oh, I understand what you're saying.
All right, I feel heard. I hope there's action out of it.
Okay. On that same subject, what's the cost of a town meeting?
So the advertisement, it depends on how many, how big the ad is, so I would
Rough
say,
order of magnitude?
$800.
$800.
Because $300 for the advertisement, and then we have to pay for the moderator.
And how many do we typically have a year?
I would say a minimum of 6.
So I would think we would try to consolidate some of these things if we can. And I know Mark has tried before, and he said, I want to try to get all these on one agenda because I don't want to have to go to 2 separate meetings, town meetings, but and $800 isn't a big thing, it's just a thing. Okay, any other questions on old business? Any other discussions on old business? I have none. Public discussion. There's nobody in the public, but if there's anybody in the public, I would ask them to come discuss. Board comments, anything that the board members would like to discuss that's on the agenda that would like to have on a future agenda? Hearing none.
I do have one.
Yes.
On future agendas, maybe for the October agenda, if board members would want to just briefly discuss, top 1, 2, or 3 changes, comments, whatever concerning the budget process, so that going forward, we have a sense of that, and we somehow collect our individual thoughts on it, not just because of what happened last year, but just generally,
So what kind of comments are you referring to?
So,
Or ideas?
process comments, yeah,
More details that you'd like to see in the
Right.
book, or some kind of
Yes.
conversation about, here's where the budget started, this is what we removed when they had their department meetings, stuff like that. The only thing I was gonna add last time you brought that up is I would also like a pro and con conversation. These are the things that work well, these are the things that we can build on.
sure, yeah,
And spread them throughout the books as well.
yeah, oh,
Okay.
definitely, so.
It would have been good to do that right after budget season, because
know.
I've forgotten half of what
I
I.
know.
Yes. Okay, and the other thing we want to add to the agenda is the amendment to the bylaws for the electronic voting.
Right, we'll read that into you have the result of the vote and read that into the record.
No, but we want to add to the bylaws the whole
Oh, yes,
process of electronic
yes,
voting, because right
yes.
now there is no process.
At some point, right,
Yeah.
right, that banner there.
And whether or not that's next month, or that, if that's for
Right,
the
that
next
could-
board.
Yeah,
it's-
I guess we had said January is our review date
Yeah,
for.
yeah, it might just make more sense to put that on that, that conversation.
And so, Bill, not to beat a dead horse, but I am going to support you again on your comment you made to Jeff about making this a two-way street. Because when we went to those budget sessions last year,
It's very difficult.
it was difficult, and I kept asking myself, what's the desired outcome?
Mhm.
I mean, of course, we trust that they are doing their job. I mean, duh. We
But-
may not agree with it, but we're trusting that they're doing a zero-based budget and blah, blah, blah. So I guess I'm trying to, it's nice to say you're invited. It's nice, and it's nice, but what's the desired outcome? Because we're not invited to participate, and it takes time, and I'm not really sure.
So I think the desired outcome has to be to educate them on the process as much as they keep trying to say that they're trying to educate us. They have to understand, we all as a town have to understand that there's not unlimited resources. And if the town budget grows every year by 1.5%, and the Board of Education budget grows every year by 2.5%, we have to understand why and take some of the best practices of the town and apply them to the Board of Ed so that the Board of Ed growth can be contained to the rest of the town. So the whole idea that we're cutting their budget, I still take offense to. We decrease the amount of growth.
Of course,
But I
everybody
think
knows
that's
that.
where the conversation needs to be around. Trying to find common best practices so that we all grow consistently with one another. Okay. Any other comments? In that case, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Hear a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved, 400.